Hello, everyone. Welcome to Molehill Mountain. Okay, I need to switch coasters because the condensation is getting on this thing, and I'm picking up the coaster with the yeah. Need to go replace that with it. I like these because it looks like a cat butt and it's funny, but the rubber ones are better. Molehill Mountain episode 437. Andrew here. Hello. So before we talk about video games, I want to talk about elections. So I got this in the mail today. So the primary is June 2nd, I think. Probably says so. Yeah, June 2nd. Um, so I got this in the mail today, and I paged through it, and this is all the governor, lieutenant governor, city controller, all that kind of stuff. But this is the primary, so it's the open thing where everyone and their brother can run. And I didn't count them, but just for governor alone, runs from page 10 to 26. So 16 pages, and it seems to be about 2 people per page. Yeah. So about 30. There's a couple pages where it's just one person on the page. Like, yeah, this person's real serious. It just says hello voter. No party preference. Hello voter. Yeah, a very serious person. So yeah, about 30 people running for governor alone. I imagine it will be less than that by the time the ballots come out in 2 months, but month and a half actually. Uh, but we don't have ranked choice voting here in California, which is not ideal. I think something along those lines would be better, but because you just got to pick one, and you got to do that strategy shit. It's like you don't want to split the vote and get someone horrible. Oh, I hate this stuff so much. Oh well. Um. So, gaming regrets. I have a few. What is that song? I forget it. So I am middle-aged. I've been playing video games since I was a wee small child, and I've enjoyed a goodly chunk of my gaming career, but it is true that gaming regrets, I have a few. And Lee offered a perspective that I actually didn't consider, that being games I regret even starting. And no, that's not what I would like to discuss today. I would like to talk about games that I started and liked, but never finished, and probably never will, and I feel kind of bad about that. There's a bunch of games that are on my shelf, incomplete, and I will probably pass away with them on my shelf, not 100%ed. And I do consider myself a completionist. Um, Although quite a bit as I get older, I get less strict with that. I don't complete as many games or as fully. I don't 100% as many games as I might have in years past, as I go barreling ever towards whatever date I finally punch my ticket. Because I think, oh, well, yeah, this is a good game, but is it good enough to spend another 50 hours 100%ing when I'm running out of time? I've got a finite amount of time left, and I want to fit as many awesome games and stuff into it as I possibly can. So, I've told some of these stories before, so you may have heard these, but I thought it'd be fun to go over some of these and keep them in one place. The first and possibly most recent is Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Uh, I did 100% Breath of the Wild, and the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom games are interesting, from my perspective, because I don't like them that much. I like a lot about them. I really like certain aspects of them. I definitely really admire them, but they're just broadly not what I want in a Zelda game. Um, they're interesting because they're games that are difficult for me to work up the initiative to start. Although once I'm playing them, I'm usually fine and I lose myself into the majesty of the open fields and mountains and deserts of Hyrule. Hello, if Demon. If you're looking for a good anime to watch, you should check out Demons of the Shadow Realm. Don't recall hearing that title. Okay. Demons of the Shadow Realm. I don't recall if it was you or Jared or someone else who mentioned licorice something. Shit, licorice recoil or something like that. I actually did check that out. I thought it was cute. I actually there was a like a series of mini episodes, like 6 4-minute episodes. I actually thought those were. I kind of enjoyed those little adorable little bite-sized. It only really works if you've seen the series and know who the characters are, so you kind of have to watch the series first. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was cute. That was you, okay? Yeah, I thought that was I thought that was quite a charmer. What was I talking about? Breath of the Wild, right? That said, I liked Tears of the Kingdom enough to stick with it and 100% it. I'm sorry, Breath of the Wild. Tears of the Kingdom, on the other hand, I stopped after a while. I got a good chunk of the way through the game. I did. Is that the one with the Divine Beast? I can't even remember. There's like 4 major thing. If it's not the Divine Beast, then it's something like that. There's like 4 major ones, and then Kakariko Village. And then I guess you go off to Ganon's castle. I beat 3 of them, and I was on my way to the 4th, which was the Zora domain. And I got to the Zora domain, and Link's running around. He's like, "Yo, I'm back after 100 years or whatever it's been. Where's Prince Sidon?" And they said, "Oh, he's up on top of that mountain way over there." And I looked up at the top of the mountain, I'm like, no, 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 I'm done. I don't want to, I don't want to walk all the way over there. I just don't want to. Where, I think where Tears of the Kingdom loses me, um, where it lost me, is it, Breath of the Wild tested my patience. It bent the bar, but it never broke it. Tears of the Kingdom puts more weight on it, and for me, snapped the bar at some point. It wasn't literally just the Sidon thing. It was that was the last straw. Um, I still maintain that the Hyrule, as presented in those games, particularly Breath of the Wild, is one of the single best executed and presented open worlds in video games. Just one of the best. The design is incredible. There's a ton of variety to the various biomes, and perhaps most impressive to me is the fact that wherever you are standing in Hyrule, you are always in eyesight of at least 2 major landmarks, like Death Mountain or something like that, or Hyrule Castle, or that one Split Peak place, or the Great Plateau, or the snow-capped mountains, Lanryu, or so, whatever it's called. You are always wherever you are in sight of major landmarks, so you always have a great sense of place, a great sense of the world's geography. Even if you're lost, you can just look around and go, well, there's Death Mountain, and there's okay, I have a decent idea of geographically where I am, even if I don't know, you know, how to get where I'm going. I can at least orient. I think it's really impressive and really well done. Where Tears of the Kingdom loses me, let me start with something positive. Tears of the Kingdom, I think, does a really nice job of, even though it's using the same Hyrule map, it does a great job of making it feel distinct from Breath of the Wild. I, at least, did not feel like it was just a copy-paste job, just completely rehashing what I've already done. And they do that with redressing all of the sets, yes, but also dropping your ass in a different starting location and directing you. You can pretty much go anywhere you want, but there is signposting that will lead you to approach places that you've visited in Breath of the Wild from new directions. So it feels a lot more distinct than it would have otherwise. I think it's some really, really strong design and very well considered. So I'm saying, says Lee, the newer Zelda games are going to be worse? No, but if, as I have heard it said, reporting has shown that Aonuma is like, this is what Zelda should be. That doesn't make me happy because this is not my favorite Zelda, but it's going to make a lot of people really happy, and that's cool because most people seem to really dig this particular Zelda formula. Oh well, for me, can't win them all. But where Tears of the Kingdom really fell flat for me was they tried the asynchronicity of the cutscenes in the first game didn't really matter because the story didn't really matter. Like the various vignettes that you found with the 12, 16 memories that you could uncover in that game didn't really need to go in any chronological order. So whatever order you picked them up in wasn't too terribly important. Whereas with Tears of the Kingdom, they're actually trying to tell a narrative, and it really does not work in some orders. There is definitely a preferred... It doesn't need to be completely chronological, but there are definitely some orders that you definitely do not want to start with. There are some cutscenes that you don't want to front load because it kind of spoils the twists and relieves all subsequent cutscenes of any tension. They really should have just played them in the same order, regardless of what order you picked the tiers up in. So that's one thing. Also, I hated the underground and the overworld, which is funny because I know a lot of people who absolutely loved the underground, particularly, and they're like, "Oh my god, I could just get lost in there. It's the greatest. Oh, I love. It's my favorite part of the game." I'm like, "Huh, really? I hated it. I dreaded going down there. I didn't have the there's some thing that you pick up, some item. I'm trying to remember what it is. I think it might be the ability to save master hand schematics. I think you build something with the master hand thing, and I think you can save it to a schematic so you don't have to, so you can just rebuild it again. I didn't get that thing until probably like towards the end of my playtime with it, and I probably put like 60 some hours in the game. I did play a lot of the game. But I didn't get that for a long... Most people get that within, like, the first 15 hours or something like that, or even earlier. I didn't get it till way the hell into the game, because I just did not like the underground. I found it samey and uninteresting and boring. And I also found that constantly throwing those light moss things, or whatever they were, to light up the path was irritating as shit and just unfun. I just did not like that underground area. and the overworld with the floating islands were a pain in the ass to get to, but moreover, track where you've been. Like there's all this patchwork of floating islands. I'm like, I don't remember anymore which the hell ones I've been on. I think one of the second to last straws for me with that game um, is I was on one of the floating islands and I wanted to get to another one. So I got one of those floating blocks and I strapped a few fans to it and loaded up some batteries and started sailing my way across the sky over to the adjoining island. And it took a while, but I got about 80% of the way there, and the game just unloaded the platform out from under me and I fell out of the sky. Yep. So yeah, I just don't want to play it anymore. Well, I'm sure I'm sure Link defeats Ganon and saves Zelda, so I doubt I'm missing much narratively. Maybe it's a very cool boss fight at the end of the game. I've never even actually looked it up, but I still do kind of feel bad because it's I feel kind of weird not finishing a Zelda game. I didn't even not 100% it. I didn't finish it, and I didn't want to. Like I probably only explored maybe a third of the underground area and the over the Sky Islands, and I just do not care to actually go back, and it feels weird. Um, Similarly, I don't have a Switch 2. When did the Switch 2 come out? Was it like June of last year? It's been out for like 10 months now. I don't have one. Nintendo fanboy, I don't have the new Nintendo console, and I have really no plans to buy it. One, it's pretty pricey for what it is, and two, there's barely anything on the system that I want to play. I'd like to play Bonanza and Metroid Prime 4, but I'm not like chomping at the bit for either one. They both look, well, Bonanza looks like a lot of fun. Metroid, I'm just not sure about. Hey, there's a big desert in the middle with nothing in it that you can drive your bike across. I'm like, that sounds like a poor idea. I don't know. I haven't played it, but I don't want to spend $450 plus tax on a console to find out. I'm also not paying $70 for those games. I think Rhythm Heaven Groove is another game I'm really looking forward to, but I also heard that it's not I read somewhere recently that it's not exclusive to the Switch 2 if it ever was. I'm like, oh, it's not. Then if I don't need the Switch 2 to play it, then well, okay, not buying it there then. So it just feels weird, you know. Um, Another game I never actually finished, although the regret is not so much not 100%ing the game, it's not engaging with a certain mechanic of the game. And I did talk about this a little. I joked about this on social media earlier this week or the last. Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. A game distinguished by what I feel is probably the single worst opening of any game ever. Like, the opening of Phantom Pain is like, holy crap, that is the worst opening to any video game ever. It's you go through a character creator that doesn't matter at all, at least not right away. Um, and the opening escape from the hospital is just such a slog and so boring. I mean, there is a flaming sky whale at some point, which is kind of neat. But everything from the character creator to when they just let you go wander off through the desert is a boring slog. Uh, that said, I really did enjoy the game. Lee says, either way, if you're looking forward to a Switch 2 game, they're going to be expensive. Yeah, that's kind of the problem, right? It's like, yes, the games are expensive. Also, yes, they almost never go on sale. It's like, oh, you don't want to pay $70. You see, I don't have Ghost of Yotei or Resident Evil 9. I'm planning on getting them at some point, probably next year when they drop to $40 and have all of the DLC included, which there's a high likelihood of that happening. But a year out, Donkey Kong came out last July. We're in the middle of April. It's still $70. It's probably going to be $70 on its 1 year anniversary. It's probably going to be $70 for most of forever. So yeah. Um, Luckily there are other games, so we're certainly not suffering for games to play. But anyway, Metal Gear Solid 5, a very fun game. Uh, it feels like a game where they kind of ran out of time or other resources because the back half of the game is just kind of a repeat of the front half. There's two major maps in the game, and they're big and they're expansive and they're great, but there's two major maps, and that's it. But I don't really regret not 100%ing the game because the back half is very almost just do the front half again. Oh, Pragmata, there's another one I'm interested in playing. The reviews have been nice, and it's another one that I'll wait until it's dropped in price a little bit. Although I think that one's $60. It's still more than I'm willing to pay for it, but it does have a ghost cat in it, so that's it. At my first opportunity, I'm gonna kick little blonde-haired blue jacket girl off of the moon, and gonna piggyback the ghost cat because ghost cat is cooler than chatty little robot girl. Yeah, I'll drop kick her off of a cliff like so many baby penguins in Mario 64. um so I'm not really too fussed about not 100%ing uh Metal Gear Solid 5. However, the one piece of the game that I never engaged with was quiet. There are three companions in the game. There's your horse, there's your dog, and then there's Quiet, who I guess is sniper support. But I wouldn't know because I shot her in the damn face at the first at introduction and never replayed that mission to spare her life and explore her mechanic. In my defense, number one, she shot my horse unprovoked. We did not have beef, and she shot my horse. Number two, she seems like a lousy sniper because for being called quiet, she's constantly humming and giving her away her position. And three, I already have a dog. And the dog's cooler. Because dog. So what do I need you for? Besides, you shot my horse, so I shot her in the face. It was a funny boss battle, though. The idea is, she's a sniper and she's hiding out in the desert somewhere, and you need to sneak up on her and kick her in the pants. If you figure out where she is and you just charge her, she's gonna. I think she just kind of magically teleports somewhere else. You can't rush her. You have to sneak up on her. But what I did was I just supply dropped on her head and killed her. I was like, oh shit, that worked. That's one of the lovely things about the game is those little emergent bits of gameplay that I'm sure the developers did know about, and when you discover them, they're hilarious. I think it took two separate supply drops to knock her ass on the ground, and then I shot her in the face. And I still kind of feel bad about that, because overall I did like the game, and I feel like I'm kind of missing out on, a major mechanic of the game. The horse is fun, the dog is fun. I'm sure Quiet adds something if you take her out in the field as your companion. having sniper support is probably a lot of fun, but I I just never bothered replaying that level so that I could spare her life and add her to the I forget what the name of the organization is, to their roster. Oh well. Sorry, quiet. Um like, at least it's like what you said the first time with drop clicking. At least when you drop click someone, they'll fall. Yeah. Also the Fulton airlift thingy. That's probably one of my favorite video game items. Just snap, just slapping a balloon on someone and hijacking them. They go, ah! As they're ganked skyward. Oh, that's the fun. That never stopped being hilarious to me. Um, and I feel kind of bad that I just didn't engage with one whole chunk of the game's mechanics, but oh well. Another one I kind of feel bad about is God of War. It's not a remake, but I don't know, 2017, 2018, somewhere in there. Um, the bearded Kratos, the one prior to Ragnarok. Um, I played it, I liked it, I was enjoying it, but the premise of the game is Kratos and Boy are taking Mama's ashes to scatter. Mama died, so we're taking her ashes and we're gonna uh, dump them on top of Old Smoky. Uh, Actually, that's pretty apropos because when we get to the mountain, it's belching out clouds of black smoke, and you get there probably like, I don't know, 15 hours into the game, 20 hours into the game, the way I play. Um, and I wasn't having a bad time with the game or anything. I wasn't really connecting with the narrative, because there was like a lot of stuff that was being set up or was being introduced, but was never explained what was going on. Like, I remember there's a fight with some scrawny dude at a cabin, and it's never explained, at least the chunk of the game that I played, who the hell this guy is or what his damn problem is. I mean, it's a cool fight, but I don't know who this guy is or what the hell his deal is. I would imagine it's explained at some point, but it was just kind of unsatisfying to me, and a lot of the game came off that way. There was just a lot of stuff happening that didn't seem to relate to anything important. Just distracting stuff. So, little Atreyu, it's not Atreyu, that's Never Ending Story, I think. Boy, Boy and Kratos get to Old Smoky, and it's like, finally! Oh, the scrawny guy was trying to kick my ass for some reason. There was that big room with the turntable that, like, leads to different times or parallel universes or something. But we finally got to Old Smoky. We're gonna drop Mama's ashes. Oh no, but Old Smoky is belching out old smoke. I guess we're gonna have to turn around and go do way more game adventure stuff to find the magic MacGuffin that'll stop the mountain from belching out black smoke so we can get up there and dump Mama's ashes. And I sat there going, nah, I'm gonna headcanon we just walked around it and dumped the ashes and went home. I'm good. That that feels that feels like a satisfying ending to the game. We either walked around or we're like, you know what, we're close enough. Mama can stay right here. Let's go home, boy. And I feel kind of bad because I enjoyed the game, but like nothing about the adventure actually hooked me. Like, I wasn't interested in crawling back down the mountain and doing the spin table to explore another side area. I had no interest in getting back on that damn rowboat. Although it is funny how when Kratos paddles, that boat books. It is hilarious how fast that son of a gun can row a boat. um But I don't know. In my head canon, I just had no interest in anything that was actually happening in the game. Though I was enjoying playing it, just none of the narrative was connecting with me for some reason. So I was like, they drop the ashes and they go home. Good game. I'm satisfied. Is it covered with cheese on top of Old Smoky? All covered with cheese. Yeah. Ah, Dark Souls. To be clear, it's the remake on the PlayStation 4. Um, I liked Dark Souls. I wasn't really sure going in whether it was going to click with me or not, but it's such a great world. It's another one that's kind of up there for really great world design. Um, one of my favorite bits is when you get through, I think it's Sen's castle or Sen's fortress or something like that, and you get lifted over the wall and you see, I forget what the name of it is, but the big, not depressingly dilapidated and falling apart city. It's like, oh, holy shit, their life exists on the grass is greener on the other side. That's a great reveal. Wandering around over there is a lot of fun. Um, I really enjoyed the game, but I never beat it. Not because I'm not good enough. I got good enough. But because the game, I think even the hardest of hardcore stands of Dark Souls would readily admit the game's got some jank. A little bit here and there. Um, and the game, for me anyway, was good enough to excuse jank in moderation. But the more I played the game, the deeper into the game I got, the more difficult and challenging the tasks the devs laid before me, the more the jank started encroaching on my fun. To the point where it moved from, oh, that's kind of funny. That's bullshit, but that is actually kind of funny. To this is kind of annoying. To I I'm not having fun anymore. I was I don't remember how far I got into the game because it's kind of hard to, because it's been a while and it's a little difficult to, because the game is open enough where you can explore a bunch of different areas. It's kind of hard to figure out where I was. I know I was in the main area where there's the big castle place where the golden boys are, the two golden armored dudes. Um, there's a giant lady on a couch at some point. Um, there's there's an underground area with a bunch of friggin' graboids that are obnoxious. Uh, there was like this the white fog that gets in your that you push through when you enter a new area. There was like a in that underground area there was like one only it was like yellow fog. I don't remember if I ever passed through that. I think I might have needed something to do that. So that's kind of the area I was in. Um Smaug? No, that's the dragon from The Hobbit. What's the Guildenstern? Guildenstern? What the hell are those two, the Golden Boys? I don't remember what their names are. Um, I don't remember. Let's see. What I was doing at the time is there somewhere in the castle there was one of the blacksmith dudes, and I felt really bad about the doggy with the sword in its mouth. It's like I did kill him, and I felt really bad about it because he starts like limping at the end of the fight. I'm like, oh, I don't want to, I don't want to kill the puppy. Oh, Anyway, so there's a blacksmith, and he had a weapon, a new weapon that I wanted to try to use because it was like I don't know, it's like a two-handed sledgehammer or some shit. And I'm like, oh, that looks really neat, but I didn't have like a high enough, I don't know, a dex stat or something like that. One of my stats was too low, so I needed to grind for souls so that I could get one of my stats high enough so I could actually wield the weapon. I had enough. I think I bought it, and then I realized I couldn't use it. I was like, oops. I gotta grind for souls so I can up my stats so I can actually wield the weapon properly. So I had a grinding run through the castle that I was doing, right? As you start at a bonfire, you go through, you kill a bunch of enemies, and you loop back around to the bonfire, or maybe I was hitting another one. I was just running back and forth. So it's like a 20-minute run or something like that. And, you pack up several thousand souls in a run, cash them in, and then go again, right? Because it's Dark Souls and we're only human, occasionally you take a bad hit and you'd be like, whoops, don't want to lose all my souls, and then occasionally you just die because it's Dark Souls. It happens. So you restart at the bonfire and you got to be really careful and go back and get your souls. You don't want to lose them all. So I had taken a bad hit. I had like stockpiled a metric butt ton of souls, and I had died and dropped them on the floor. I was like, oopsies, okay, gotta be real careful, play real conservatively, get back to where I was so I can pick up my souls and get on with it. And I was indoors in a castle of some stripe. And there was, I think it was just some knight with a lance or some shit that murked me the first time, and my souls were behind him. I'm like, all right, gonna kill you, pick up the souls. And I whiffed a parry or something and took a bad hit, so did the smart thing, immediately disengaged, walked away, walked out of the room, and down the hall. Turn around, look behind me, making sure that he's not following me so that I have plenty of room, plenty of space to chug my Estus flask and then go back and re-engage properly. Playing smart. So I'm standing out in the hallway and I start chugging my Estus flask, and the son of a bitch stabs me through the damn wall. So I lost all the souls that I just spent 30 minutes gathering because I got stabbed through a wall. Which I don't think is supposed to be a thing. I think that's just more jank. And that was the last straw. I was like, no, don't want to play anymore. And I feel kind of bad because I did like the game. Jank but damned. I did enjoy my time with the game, and I would have liked to see what else the game had on offer. But that, I was just like, no, I am vexed now. So, yeah. Oh, well. Someone, a friend of mine at work, one of my coworkers had mentioned that he saw me play Elden Ring on stream a couple years back. And I was like, really? And he's like, oh, it was so funny. And I was like, what was funny? He's like, the way you were playing it. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like, there was this time where you were just wandering around and you found like this group of knights and a group of goblins, and you just kneeled in a bush and watched them kill each other for like 5 solid minutes. And then you emerged from the bush when there were only 3 half-dead goblins, and you just killed them all, just picked up all the souls or whatever the currency in Elden Ring is. I'm like, yeah, that's playing smart. I was just really weirded out that someone had actually seen a stream of mine. Deception 4, The Nightmare Princess. This is, I think it's a PS4 game. This is a game, talk about jank, this is a game with an incredible concept that is executed Not well at all, even though this is apparently their fourth attempt at it. I don't know if this, I'm not familiar with the first three games in the series. I don't know if this is like a radical new direction for this series, or if they've done four of them and never quite got it right. But the concept is so strong. I've tried this game, I think, three different times over the years from the beginning. And I play it for several hours. I'm like, no, this game's just not fun to play. It's so janky and nearly broken and hard to play that it's just, as much as I love what it's trying to do, it's a absolute unfun chore to play. So here's the concept. You are the villainous evil queen of the evil villainous castle that lords over the land. And every damn day, wannabe knights and other assorted heroes keep breaking into your house to claim your head and, I don't know, win the king's favor and his daughter's hand in marriage or some shit. You've got heroes constantly kicking down your door trying to take your head. So what's an evil villain to do except set booby traps for the heroes to stumble into? See, as a villain, you're not really one for hand-to-hand combat, but you're really good at setting booby traps, and that's essentially the game. It's pretty much a puzzle game where you set various booby traps on your floor, on the ceiling, on the wall. So, there's bear traps, there's swinging guillotine blades, there's spiky walls that push out. And the idea is to chain these to, lure a hero into one trap so that they chain into a bunch of other traps, right? So you drop a pumpkin, and there's a very silly sense of it's dark and macabre, but there's also a silly sense of humor. So you can like drop a bucket on their head or like a pumpkin, and they stumble around blindly, and they stumble into the rake, and it swaps them on the face, and they walk into the other direction, into the bear trap that you set on the floor, which holds them in place so that the swinging hammer comes down and smacks them and sends them flying across the room into the some other, a rack or a spiky something, right? And you can just ping pong. The idea is to set up a combo to ping pong them all across the dungeon and hitting all of these traps to basically, work through their HP bar and survive and win the day. That is such a fun concept. The various traps are really fun, and some of them are very funny, and I love this concept of just having these assholes constantly falling in these traps and ping-ponging between them and setting the combo. The problem is every mechanical thing in the game is fighting against you, from the movement to the camera to the menus to the placement of objects. You can rarely ever get it. You understand what you're supposed to do. You have an idea of what you want to do, but executing it properly is very, very difficult because the game is just not very well put together. But it's such a funny idea that I want it to work so bad. I've actually tried it like 2 or 3 separate times, but I can't get past like the first several hours of the game. It's almost unplayable. If someone actually does that game but actually makes it playable, that could also, even when you can get it to work, the camera is so bad that it's hard to enjoy these dingbat heroes being flung from trap to trap, because the camera doesn't follow it well, doesn't frame it well. So even if you can get something working the way you intended, it's not as satisfying as it should be. And that's a damn shame, because that's a super solid concept for a game, but Yeah, it just doesn't come together. Maybe the first three are great and four just dropped the ball. I have no idea. But at Nightmare or Deception 4, the Nightmare Princess. Back on the GameCube is a game called Geist, and I've talked about this a couple times. In fact, I had it on one of the Extra Life charity events some years back. This was a very interesting game in that you play a ghost, and the main conceit of the game is as a ghost, you can't really interact with the environment, but you can explore it almost unlimited because you're a ghost. You can just kind of float through walls. But what you need to do in order to interact with stuff is possess people and get them to like punch in a code to open a door or shut down a security system to drop the anti-ghost barriers or whatever so you can continue on in the level. Well, you can't just possess a person, but you can, they have to be sufficiently freaked out or scared. So you have to possess objects in the environment and make them move or rattle, like, have a, a toilet seat pop up or flap or, explode. Have doors open and close, windows open, have, stuff fly off counters and freak people out so that they're in a fearful state, and then you possess them, and then you can, like Hitman, donning the clothes of someone who has a certain security clearance, you can move around the level and do the things you need to do. It's even clever enough that you can possess a dog. How do you freak out the dog? You possess its bowl of dog food. And you like rattle the dog food and the dog walks over, and then you explode the food all over the place and the dog yelps and whines, and then you can possess the dog. It's a really cool idea. It's a really cool game. It doesn't play very well, but it plays well enough. Until you get towards the end of the game, where you are tasked with possessing there's like waves of the enemies that come in, and you need to possess the enemies and then shoot the other ones and do kind of a last man I've played through the game at least twice, maybe three times up to that point. Get good be damned, I can't beat that section. I just can't do it. I cannot get past that section. And it bums me out because I really enjoy the game otherwise. It's such a fun concept and it's done pretty well. But that one sequence where you have to possess and fight waves of gun-toting baddies, I just cannot. I've never been able to get past that section. That's humbling. I'm an okay gamer. I'm at least tenacious. There's very few gaming challenges that I'm interested in tackling that I'm unable to tackle. I mean, I didn't beat Battletoads because I got bored at the end because the last level just went forever. But I did beat Snake Rattle and Roll, and that game's really hard. I beat Ghosts and Goblins, or Ghouls and Ghosts, the one on the NES, and then it said, "Oh, but this isn't the true ending. Play through the entire game again." I'm like, no thanks. So I'm an okay gamer, but yeah, I could not get past that point, and to this day, I'm kind of bummed about that because I'd like to see the end of that game. Lee says, it reminds me of Beetlejuice, first movie where they possess them to try and get people. Yeah. Let's see. Lego games. Just Lego games in general. I used to love the Lego games. If you look on my shelf over there, you can see just a line of Lego games. I used to get pretty much all of them. Except like when they did like Lego SimCity, not Legos, Lego The Sims. I didn't care. But Lego Batman, Lego Star Wars, Lego City Undercover is a really great game. It's damn funny. I think they changed the name once they ported it to, I think it changed to like Lego City Stories or something like that. But Lego Pirates of the Caribbean. I played Lego Dinosaur Jurassic World. I played all of the. I think Lego Jurassic World. I think was the last one I played. So that would have been around like 2015 or so. So 10 years ago. Why did I stop? Did I get bored because they were very formulaic? Uh, that was probably part of it. But what really bothered me was Lego started getting, or Warner Brothers started getting really greedy and started locking characters and stuff behind paywalls and DLC, and sometimes that Lego dimension, buy the character and scan it on the portal of power to unlock it in the game, that crap. I was like, nah, I'm back in my day, you bought the game once and you had all 160 characters or whatever that were in the game, and you could unlock them by, playing the game. Now it's like, oh, you have multiple DLCs and season passes to unlock more characters. I'm like, no, I'm out. I ain't played a Lego game in like 10 years, 10, 12 years. And I heard the Horizon one was really nice, and the new Batman one looks pretty good too, but that to me was just such a turnoff. Yeah, it's not a specific game that I didn't finish, it's like an IP that I just backed away from. Let's see. Lee says, didn't really like Lego Ninjago Battle because it wasn't very great. Back in your day, you had Lego Island. Um, and let's do one more. Valkeria Chronicles 4. I think Valkeria Chronicles is the first PS3 game I played when my sister got me a PS3 for Christmas back in like 2013 or something like that. I believe the second one was Tomb Raider. And I really liked it, which is kind of weird because tactic games are usually not my speed, but I quite like Valkeria Chronicles, so I was excited for 4. 2 and 3, I think, were PSP games, and then like Revelations or Revolutions or something like that I heard was just very different and not very good, so I never bothered with that one. But 4 seemed like a return to form, and I bought it, and I played it, and I liked it, and I stopped playing it because either the game is tuned incorrectly, or I have or I just had an incredible run of bad luck. Jared says, do I think I will like Pragmata if there's no DLC when it's not 60? Oh yeah, I think I've read a few reviews. It sounds fun. I'm not interested in paying $60 for it, but it falls under 50, I'll pick it up. I think, is that Capcom? I think it's Capcom. I think Capcom said they weren't planning any DLC. Who knows? But yeah, that one I'm going to wait for a price drop. The same thing with a bunch of games in my to get eventually list, like Ghost of Yotei, Resident Evil 9. Of course, those are probably going to have some form of DLC, so probably going to wait for the gold edition or complete edition of those. I've got plenty of other things to play in the meantime, so I'm not really a rush to get those. But yeah, I'm looking forward to, as I said earlier, drop clicking. Is her name Diana? Little Diana off a cliff so that I can spend quality time with the ghost cat. I don't trust that little ragamuffin. I think she's secretly evil. I think she's playing me. I think it's an act. I don't trust anything that sweet. Chaos says, I started Pragmata last night, quite enjoying it. I played the demo, and I came away thinking this has potential, and reading the reviews, it seems to. But anyway, Valkyria Chronicles 4. It's a tactics game. If you've played stuff like, if you've played Valkyria Chronicles, it's a fun game. Strategic, dude, if I'm right up on you, it's 100%. If I'm one square away, it should be an automatic hit. I've had too many issues where I'm like, okay, here's the strategy. I'm going to run out into the open and just machine gun this guy. And so I run out in the open, get the drop on him, machine gun him, and somehow miss, like that scene in Pulp Fiction where the guy runs out of the bedroom and starts firing at John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson. Ah, bang, 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 and they're standing there, and he runs out of bullets, and they're like, "How the hell did you miss with every single shot? That's like divine intervention. That shouldn't happen." And and that's like a plot point of that film. But imagine how silly Pulp Fiction would, and Pulp Fiction, I guess, is on some level pretty silly. But imagine how unpalatably silly Pulp Fiction would be if that happened like 3 or 4 times in a row. I mean, maybe you could build a narrative around something like that. But I think the last mission I played in Valkeria Chronicles 4 was I was going after, I think, the last dude on the map, who I think was like the leader guy. And once you beat the leader guy, you win. I think there was like artillery support, so you had to be very careful about not being exposed, because if you're standing out in the open at the end of the turn, they're just gonna artillery your ass. And I miss. Well, shoot. Well, that's okay. I've got 3 other people who are in position that can either fire from cover or just run him down to up the hit chance and just machine gun him out into oblivion. So my first person runs up on him, because I'm thinking I'm going to take the better hit chance. Run ups on him, shoots, and just completely whiffs the whole thing. Which means, in this game, he turns around and shoots my person dead. I'm like, okay, well, that's insanely unlucky, but I've got like 2 more dudes, so run the next dude out and shoot him from point blank range and miss again. And he turns around and machine guns my person, who dies or doesn't die, might survive it, I don't remember. And then I send the last, I'm like, okay, this can't possibly happen again. Run out, machine gun at point blank range, miss again. And then the next turn, the artillery just kills us all, because we're all standing out in the middle of out in the open like idiots. And I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. No matter, doesn't, my strategy being sound doesn't matter if my little army dudes can't hit the broadside of a gosh darn barn. Harumph. And I would really like to, I hope I go back to Valkyrie Chronicles 4 one day, because I don't think the game is tuned improperly. I think I just had an impressive run of insanely horrible luck. I remember looking around at the time, and I don't recall anyone complaining about that happening with any frequency. So it was probably just like stupendously horrific, just constantly rolling ones, just critical miss every single time. You know, instead of missing with every bullet in a machine gun clip at point blank range, I think, you know, when you play D&D and you roll a 1, if you've got a decent DM, the DM will at least make it part of the adventure, or at least make it funny. I think if there was like, I know tripping isn't popular in like, was it Smash Brothers Melee, but if you wanted to do something like criticals, and I think personally I would find it much more palatable if I sent some jackass out into the open to run up on an enemy from behind and machine gun them, and instead of just missing every shot, which seems literally impossible, they just trip and fall on their face. Be like, well, okay, that's terrible, but you know, that can happen. Or if it was something, or like maybe the gun jams, and like part of the mechanic is the further you get in the game and the more resources or money or whatever that you collect, you can upgrade your weapons and stuff like that, so they jam less often, right? If that was part of the gameplay, I think I would find that more palatable, but I guess at the end of the day, I feel if I'm standing at point blank range, I shouldn't miss with a damn machine gun. There's a new ally type in that game. Someone has a mobile mortar, uh, so you can just fire rockets from this mortar carrying person. Um, and I remember I had one. I think it's the level where this character is introduced, and there's like two castle parapets with a dude on each one. And what the game wants you to do is use your mortar person to send a rocket on top of the parapet and kill the person up there, so that your people can go down the center and not get murdered, right? Um, I think I must have went like 4 or 5 rounds of my character just constantly randomly missing the shot. I'd fire the mortar and it would just sail over because there's a percent chance it just goes wide or goes long or falls short. It's like I think I had an insane number of. And it's like none of my other characters can do anything until those two are clear, and I've only got. This is like the tutorial mission, so she's the only one who can do it. So we're just wasting time spending rounds just constantly fire, and then I had to send engineers out to her to reload her damn ammo supply because she ran out of rockets or grenades or whatever the hell she's. Oh god, it was a mess. Maybe the game isn't tuned particularly well, but or maybe I'm just stupendously unlucky. Hard to say. Chaos says first time I started playing a game the same day it was purchased since Spider-Man 2. Oh, okay. Jared says the main reason I use snipers. Yeah, I like my snipers in Valkeria Chronicles. They are usually pretty good. It was the mortar people and the like the machine gunners that were, and those are the least accurate weapons, but they're also the close range weapons. If you run right up on someone. But I've also chucked grenades at people, and the enemy's like, I live somehow. I'm like, what in the what? How is it? So yeah, I just got. I was like, okay, the random number generator is against me. I am not getting anywhere in this game because none of my characters can hit the broadside of a barn. So I hope to return to Valkyria Chronicles 4 someday because I really would like to. I think I'm only like a quarter away through the game. I don't think I got that far into the game. And I love the first one, and I did like what I played, but I was just running into such insanely bad luck that I couldn't complete the missions. You literally can't, if your characters can't hit what they're aiming at, you literally cannot win. Doesn't mean you lose, you just necessarily you can play keep away from the enemies running around the map, but it's like the with the mortar, it's like there's no one. I took care of the enemies on the ground. It was just I have to get rid of these two assholes up on the castle, and I just cycled through like 4 or 5 rounds until I finally could get them both. And I remember there was one point where I had to slowly send in engineers that have like scout range, so it didn't take too long, but I had to take like 2 full turns to get my engineer to run back to the tank, stock up, and then run back over to where my mortar person was to refill her ammo. It's like, oh Jesus Christ. I'm certainly not getting an A rank on this mission. Oh man. So there are some of my gaming regrets. Hope you found some of these stories amusing. Tomorrow for the Sunday stream, we are going to play a little, I'm guessing it's an indie studio produced game called Of the Devil, which is kind of like Phoenix Wright. We're going to play the first episode. I played Resident Evil 4. That's a fully voiced game, so I didn't say as much other than my dumb commentary. So this is not a voiced game, so I'll be reading a lot of dialogue, and I think it might be a fun little palate cleanser, and we'll get to. I think the premise is you are it's a future cyberpunky kind of a world. You are a public defender, and some dude has been accused of murdering his girlfriend in a cyberpunk future where there's just cameras all over the place. So it's like almost impossible to get away with murder. So you have to do the Phoenix Wright thing and do the interviews and investigate the crime scene and present the evidence in certain ways at the certain time to prove that your client didn't do it. Waha! So we'll play the first episode of that tomorrow. I think the first episode is supposed to take like between 2 and 3 hours, but since I'll be reading all the dialogue out loud, it'll probably fill the entire stream. So we'll see. It should be a nice fun little change of pace. And then next weekend we'll do Brian's Patreon reward, which is Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. And then the first Sunday in May we will start Cold Steel 3. So look forward to. I'm still working on the post Cold Steel video, Cold Steel 2 video. I hope to have that out before we start Cold Steel 3, but it might come out the week after we start Cold Steel 3. It depends. I'm working on it. It's kind of a big project, and it's like I don't know that the juice will be worth the squeeze. I'm trying to pick my favorite music track from each of the games I've played so far, which requires me listening to the soundtracks of all the games that I've played thus far. And that's like 20 hours of music. So, it's, it's a bit. So I'm almost done. I'm almost done. I only have, about an hour and a half of, Cold Steel 2 to go through, I think. So I think I'm on the last disc of the Cold Steel 2 soundtrack. Well, the last few songs in the end of the third disc, or no, Cold Steel 1 I think had 4 discs. Cold Steel 2 I think has 2. So yeah, I've got about an hour and a half of music left. Then that will give me my short list for each game. So then I have to go listen to my short list and pick my favorite from each game and write a script and film it and edit it and up. It's a lot of work. I hope you guys enjoy it when it comes out. And if not, well, I got to listen to a bunch of good music. So hey, I win either way. All right, that's it for me tonight. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you join me tomorrow for some of the devil fun. And until then, friends, have a good night. Take care. Bye bye.